Let's talk about this story we got from the
so.
LA Times. Trial to determine if requiring women on boards is legal.
That's our trial.
So this is your trial. This is a story from back in December. But, when you get a president who says the principal determinant for a Supreme Court nominee is going to be race and gender, I'm like, that flies in the face of the civil rights movement. It flies in the face of what we were fighting for. And it's what the critical race theorists want. It's what the cultural left or whatever. They want your position to be determined based on identity. So in California, what did they do? They passed a law saying that you have to have a woman?
The legislature passed a law requiring that a certain number of seats be set aside for women. And so that means that men can't apply for certain seats on corporate boards of directors in California. It's outrageously illegal. It's a violation of the California Constitution, which has more broader protections against sexual discrimination than the federal Constitution does. And so we've been in court. We had 4 lawyers out there for 6 weeks fighting the government, who are bringing in all these so-called experts who are pretending that it's right to require women to be on the boards and discriminate on the basis of sex. And the argument they're using, the left's argument is, well, it helps corporations to have more women on the boards. There's no real evidence of that. But
even if it did, it's illegal.
It's still illegal. It's still legal. But the point is, they're fighting it. And so those of us who, when the left says they're in favor of and hate discrimination, that's the big lie of our era.
Yeah.
The most interesting development and troubling development is the thorough assault on anti-discrimination law in our schools and our corporations and our military. And you see it now in the government, that you can target people based on race or sex and discriminate against them, and you'll have all the king's horses and all the king's men. I mean, we're in court suing the state of California. Where is the Justice Department? Where is the Justice Department? The Civil Rights Division is harassing states for requiring voter ID, but allowing discrimination based on sex, race, and every other category to go on in California with nary a peep.
Yeah.
Was Trump doing anything about it?
Listen,
Trump
before
DOJ.
Trump. Well, the Justice Department under Trump was a disaster too. I mean, Barr had no interest in doing any of this aggressive thing. Now, I say that knowing that he did do some good things. But the point is, the Justice Department institutionally is a locus of evil when it comes to public policy. And they do not believe, and this was true in the Obama administration, there was an IG report, they didn't believe the laws against racial discrimination applied to whites in voting matters. I mean, that was the finding. It was our people who worked there told us that. We have some our attorneys used to work at the Justice Department. They were told that. It's not designed. We don't believe these civil rights laws apply to all people.
We had some guy on the show. I'm not going to say his name, but he was arguing and very much in favor of critical race theory and stuff. And he's saying like you guys want to ban this stuff from schools and blah blah blah. And my response to this just simply when Donald Trump wanted to ban the critical race theory trainings for contractors and stuff like that, and these leftists are like, I thought you supported free speech. I'm like, I do. I'm just also in favor of enforcing laws, and if it's an illegal discriminatory action based on the civil rights law, we enforce it.
Right.
So you can't come to me and be like, we like the 1964 Civil Rights Act. We like these rulings. It's like, oh, well, Trump wants to enforce it. How dare you? We should be allowed to discriminate, but you shouldn't. It's like that. Who's that guy? Was it Frank Herbert was his name? When I am weaker than you, I ask for freedom because it's according to your principles. When I'm stronger than you, I deny you your freedom because that's according to mine. Was that Frank Herbert who said that?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
You looked at
a similar version is
it was
last night.
evil.
Oh, okay, cool.
Evil calls for tolerance until it's ascendant, and then it calls for submission, basically.
But the left is always, the left uses these arguments as a tool.
Exactly.
And when the tool becomes not useful, they cast it aside. So anti-discrimination, they saw as a political tool. Now they don't like it. They cast it aside. The Supreme Court they liked when it was Roe versus Wade, but now that they're ruling against us, oh no, we got to cast it aside.
Right.
We used to like the Senate filibuster, but now we need to eliminate the Senate on top of the filibuster.
Yeah, that was Colbert. He said that, right?
Yeah. The Senate. So when you like I say, revolutionary moment. Filibuster isn't the target. The target is eliminating any impediment to power.
Yep.
Amen.
Stephen Colbert goes on his show with Elizabeth Warren, I think this was a week ago, and he says we should get rid of the Senate. And everyone laughs. He's like, I'm going to say this, hear me out. why don't we abolish the Senate? The whole audience laughs. And he goes, I'm 100% serious. Yeah, if you're 100% serious and your audience is laughing at you when you say it, you're insane.
Yeah, and Liz is
Tonight
100%
Show.
Cherokee.
Yeah.
He was like, actually, I'm like 0.0019% serious. But no, it goes to show you how far these people have gone. Because one thing that we used to say to make fun of them when they would talk about the Electoral College was that at that point, they may as well just try to abolish representative government in general. And now they're actually doing this. And I've also seen this with respect to the argument that's been made about gun control. I've heard a lot of conservatives say, well, why not ban automobiles because of all the people who die in car accidents? And now I'm actually hearing left-wing people argue that we need to shift to a national railway system.
Yeah,
And one of the arguments is
never
because
presume
of-
the crazy stuff is something they oppose.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like it's like jokes that we will make to highlight the ridiculousness of their worldview tend to become positions that they actually support within a matter of years.
The, authoritarianism will do that. If their enemy makes a joke like, well, here they come, the authoritarians will be like, they gave us the green light, let's go.
Exactly.
Well, Trump was criticized for saying that, oh, look, they're taking down statues of Confederates.
Yep.
Are they going to take down statues of Jefferson and Washington? I remember thinking, oh, yes, they will.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, that's perfectly. I mean, we laugh at the craziness, but it's it's perfectly rational within the Marxist worldview, and they don't find it funny, and they're perfectly willing to go to these extreme circumstances. I mean, look, I call it the Rump Committee, the January 6th Rump Committee, is a one-party committee in the House that is exercising legislative and investigative power.
Is it actually all one party?
Well, there are Republicans who answer to Nancy Pelosi, but who who don't represent the minority party. So it's a one-party operation. So how is that consistent with a Republican form of government?
No, that should be an external, independent organization doing that committee.
Well, it shouldn't be. You know, what they're investigating is their political opposition.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's when you talk about the USSR, that's the playbook.
Mm-hmm. Also, speaking of the statues, do you remember when NPR did a fact check on Trump's statement that they would eventually go after statues of people like Washington and Jefferson? And they fact checked his prediction before it happened, saying it was incorrect.
No, don't get me started on the fact check.
They're fantastic.
What?
Yeah.
I used to think that we should get rid of the republicanism. I thought the House of Representatives this is like 2007. I was talking to Mike Gravel, actually. He was an Alaskan senator at the time. And I was able to communicate with him a little bit. And I thought, it's just, I saw them getting bribed. I saw the stopgap of like, only these guys get to make the laws. It just felt like they were all corrupt. I wanted it gone. I was like, why can't we just have the Americans pass the laws into the Senate and then let the Senate be the stopgap? Why do we need this House of Representatives anymore? We have internet. And Gravel was like, no, we need the House of Representatives. And I was like, is he just brainwashed because he's from that system? Or do we actually need this? I don't know. I don't think they should have the monopoly on lawmaking, though.
Yeah, I mean, the founders wanted kind of the Republican system has democratic, democratic outlooks, but it kind of is also designed to suppress the vote by, just have the popular vote be promoted directly, so that the passions of the moment don't result in legislation being passed. Everyone gets angry about Joe Rogan and he gets banned because there's this backlash. And then, what happens the next day? Well, he's banned because it was passed because they had a vote that was national that resulted in him getting banned. You don't want to be on the wrong end of that. And when you have liberties that are protected by law and are supposed to be protected by law at all times under a constitution, you don't want to have those subjected to the popular passions as well. So we have a Republican form of government with democratic aspects, and the left hates it.
We've had this conversation before, Ian, where I said everyone in this room all in favor of taking Ian's stuff from him. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Everybody?
Yep, I'm good.
Everybody raise your hand. Everyone agrees? Okay, Ian, give us your stuff.
Well, then you'd have to send it to the Senate, and the Senate would look at it and be like, what's this insane stuff, and who is this person that tried to pass this in?
The point is, when you have direct democracy, we can just vote to take from you.
I'm not talking about I like the Senate. I'm just saying the House of Representatives. I don't understand the value.
So they represent the people, and the Senate represents the states.
But they don't represent the people. That's the problem. They're supposed to. One person represents 700,000 people.
Whoa!
They represent their own interests.
Whoa, Ian. 750,000 people.
Thank you for the update.
It's a lot of people.
So
and they don't. And this is something that Colbert said when Kirsten Sinema was like, the filibuster makes sure that legislation has to have a broad range of support. Colbert goes, no. You represent 40. He's like, the party filibustering represents 41 million less people. Colbert thinks that the 50% or the 49% of Illinois that are Republican or whatever the number is just blindly agree with their senator because the election was won.
Yeah.
No, that's not how it works.
Right.
In fact, there's a great deal of Republicans in many of these blue states who are very, very, very unhappy. So when Colbert is like, but you represent more people. Yeah, well, those 41 million people are probably conservatives who don't like you, who don't agree with you. So it's not as simple as just be like, do whatever you want when you get power.
Well, I mean, it's like this argument about the popular versus the electoral vote. What the left does is they take numbers and apply them to a game that the numbers aren't, that are outside the game's rules.
Yeah.
So, oh no, the Yankees really won last year because they got more strikeouts than whoever won the World Series. Well, that may be interesting as a matter of fact, but that's not the way the game was played. And no one played the game to get more strikeouts.
Exactly.
So no one plays the game in presidential elections to get more of the popular vote. So it's irrelevant to analysis of who gets more votes or not.
Yeah.
And it's the same at the congressional level and the Senate level. It's the popular vote is not relevant to the game.
Like it's an indication, because if one team got like 100 times more strikeouts than any other team, but they still didn't win, you might think maybe the game's being played wrong.
Well, for instance, Trump doesn't campaign in California. So all that popular vote that's run up for Democrats in California is never countered because playing the game doesn't means that Republicans don't go and ask for the popular vote. Now, if there was a popular vote contest every 4 years, Democrats think they'd win. No, the game would change, and Republicans would start agitating for the popular vote, and who knows who would win?
Yeah.
No. If there was a popular, if one day they said, hey, everybody, guess what? 2024 is gonna be popular vote. It wouldn't just change the rules of the game. The country would be ripped apart by chaos and fighting.
Of course, the left doesn't believe in the popular vote because they want to change the Electoral College.
Yeah.
So let's say that Texas votes majority for Trump, but the majority of electors are voting for Biden, or the popular vote is different in other states. Texas has to ignore their popular vote.
Right.
Yeah.
It's all a game.
Well,
and I prefer the game the founders set out for us rather than the game the left is trying to come up with now.
Yeah. So the first time I ever voted was in Cook County. But
how many times did you vote?
Yeah, exactly. Only once, believe it or not. But I don't question the legitimacy of Cook County elections. I will say this. I remember feeling like it was a protest vote because it's just such a deep blue county, and Illinois is such a blue state that I didn't think it was going to have any effect. So I voted for who I wanted to, but I recognized it probably wasn't going to have an effect. And I knew a lot of people who didn't vote, a lot of conservatives who didn't vote because they knew the state was going to go blue. I think you're right that if we did change to a system that was purely based on the popular vote, there actually is a chance that the Republicans would win because a lot of people who are disillusioned by the politics of their local municipality or state would start voting. That said, I agree with you. It would not be an improvement.
Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to watch live, you can check out this channel Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Now, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, and if you want more unfiltered and uncensored content with all of these guests, go to timcast.com and become a member. All of these guests you know and love in exclusive segments on our website where we are unrestricted in what we talk about, so you'll definitely not want to miss it. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you all next time.